And welcome to the Citizen Report. I'm Jonathan Shannon, and thank you for joining me for this special bulletin of the Citizen Report. Of course, this newscast is real, in-depth, American. And this is the first ever special bulletin of the Citizen Report in terms of being dubbed as such, because I feel like that current events necessitate it, and I feel like right now it's necessary to do this special bulletin that will allow me to push out. Anytime I do a special bulletin, it'll just allow me to kind of push out information sooner than the regular podcast if I feel like it's warranted. And this is in regards to the coronavirus. And I'm concerned about it, but here's the thing. I am tens of times more concerned at this point about the media hype and the hype in general, the fear-mongering. And I want you, and the purpose of this special bulletin more so than not is to give you some reassurance a little bit. And I feel like I'm kind of just talking to you kind of like a friend talking to another friend. And really, this is talking to my friends and those of my family that might be listening as well. And I want to just say up front, if you find this helpful, please feel free to share this with anybody that is worried about this coronavirus, because I feel as though the media is complicit in this fear-mongering at this point. And I don't say that lightly, because that I don't like to bite the hand that feeds me, in a manner of speaking, because I am, after all, looking to be in broadcasting. And I guess in a way I kind of am now, because I'm doing this podcast, The Citizen Report. But my point being is this, that I want you to be at peace about this coronavirus. And I say that for this reason, because what they don't want you to know is that most cases of coronavirus are overwhelmingly minor. And what I mean by minor is that we're not talking about where people are just dying en masse. Now, the reason why you're seeing a lot of fatalities in countries like China is that people's immune systems there and people's general hygiene there is nothing like the way it is here in America. We have a very, for the lack of a better way to put it, an advanced medical industry. We have a very robust ability to combat viruses compared to other countries. We have a very good, in general. I know there's a lot of disease, a lot of people with cancer, people with heart conditions. Of course, you have all of that, but my point being is that comparatively speaking, we're generally a pretty healthy society, or at least health conscious. And so this fear about the coronavirus is really not warranted, because really, in my opinion, the big motivational factor for the media to be pushing it so hard. I mean, I cannot turn on the TV on a news channel without hearing it on most stations. Some are worse than others. And I've noticed, and here's the thing. They want to pin this on Trump. They want to make it look like, oh, he's at fault somehow, like as though he's a virus. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I just want you to understand, the media is not spreading all this in good faith. They want you in fear, because you know what? It's election year. It's election year. They want you to think Trump is at fault somehow, and then they want you to either not vote for him or vote for whoever ends up running against him in the general election. I'm telling you right now, folks, as I see it, this is a major hype operation. This is a major fear-mongering operation. And you need to think about whenever you listen to people, I'm not saying everybody in the media, but a lot of people, especially on the national network level, it is in their interest to hype this up because they're against Trump. I'm not saying everybody, but particularly the likes of CNN, MSNBC, or as somebody likes to call it, MSN Hee Haw, and other stations. You need to understand it is in their interest, and it is in their interest to make this look as terrible and bleak as possible. And something else too, they profit off of fear because it will get you to tune back in. I'm telling you folks, you need to be at peace about this. Obviously, yes, of course, exercise proper hygiene. Don't do anything stupid. If you see somebody that looks like they may have the flu, obviously don't shake hands with them. I mean, don't do stupid stuff, but yet there's no reason to panic. There's just no reason for it. And I see, I was at the Walmart in Lake Wylie, South Carolina. I believe I mentioned this just the other day on the podcast. But I saw the people going crazy over, when I say people going crazy, I shouldn't say I saw, I didn't see a mob or anything, okay? What I was seeing was the after effects. And what I mean by that is I was seeing empty shelves, mostly empty shelves in the disinfecting wipes area. And I was just flabbergasted. I'm thinking, this is nuts. People are wasting. Are you kidding me? I'm trying to, I'm just flabbergasted. But and I'm not the best at articulating this, but I'm to the extent that I can be helpful. I just want to say, don't worry, don't panic. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. Do what you are already should be doing with normal hygiene. But that's what I'm saying. Normal hygiene. Don't put on a gas mask or face mask and go out in public. You'll look ridiculous. I saw a picture of somebody at what looks like at a Publix wearing a full hazmat suit. And I shared that on my personal Facebook. And I'm saying, if I was that cashier, I have a hard time not bursting out in laughter. And I mean that because you just look ridiculous. What's next when somebody catches the common cold or the flu? They're going, seriously? We already have sickness in this country. And I'm telling you, there are fatalities. There are cases where people get really, really sick. I am not denying that. But at the same time, there are a lot more cases where people are they're recovering, or they're not even showing symptoms. That's another thing. They may catch it, quote unquote, become asymptomatic or something, if I'm using that term right, and yet they don't show symptoms. Now, what does that tell you? Now, that's not to say they may not show symptoms later, but my point being is that this is not what the media wants you to think. This is not the doom gloom, for crying out loud. This is not Armageddon, okay? And the media has a vested interest on propping up fear because of two things: ratings and making Trump look bad. And by ratings, by extension, that means they make a lot more money with the advertisers. And I think there are bad actors involved in this. I'm not saying that there's not substance to this coronavirus, but I'll just say this. These people that, the stock market plunging, and that was kind of what prompted me to kind of pull the trigger with going with this special bulletin. I want to just sample a little bit of what I saw come on my phone, the notifications. KTLA 5 says, stocks plummet. Dow sinks 7.8%, steepest drop since 2008 financial crisis, as free fall in oil prices and worsening fears of fallout from coronavirus seize markets. And then Como News Mobile says, U.S. stocks plunge more than 2,000. So, here's the thing. Here's another thing. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Here, the people that want to think that this is the end of the world. What do you think is going to happen when something actually substantive happens? I mean, people, I'm trying to be, I want to try to be as gracious as I can possibly be while getting my point across. But I do have to say this, please, and I'm going to say this with all due respect, with as much, I'm trying to be as gracious as I can possibly be, but get a grip. I mean, this is not the end of the world. We will survive this. This is not the end of the world. We will come through this. It's okay. And, you know, as I said, the media has a vested interest on making Trump look bad, to make this look as bad as possible, doing round-the-clock coverage on some of these, like CNN, where they just, outside of election coverage, there's little else they cover than coronavirus. There might be some things, but that coronavirus is the big enchilada outside of elections. And, you know, the media, I don't even know what to say right now. But my point being is that, you know, just allow things to happen. Just let the stocks do what they're going to do. And by the way, I am truly sorry for those who work in the cruise ship industry right now, who probably are just, I mean, those companies are just got to be hurting big time. Both from the fact they are not going to be able to really do much of anything with their boats, you know, their cruise ships right now. And for those that are being quarantined, there's just, I mean, God knows how much money is going to have to be spent on that if they get the bill for it. But, you know, just allow things to happen. Just keep calm. Go about your daily life. I'm not saying I'm not necessarily saying that there's, of course the coronavirus is, you know, where it gets bad, it's bad. But you know what? In most cases, 90% of us shouldn't even be really worrying about it. And the media just, you know, the media is complicit, in my opinion. They're making it look as bad as they can. And I keep saying that, but I believe it. Sometimes repetitions, you know, you just have to repeat yourself, because some people, you know, you just have to repeat it to several times. And that's how teachers do it. They'll, you know, repeat something several times. And that's what I'm saying about the coronavirus. The media, they have a vested interest in making Trump look bad. They have a vested interest because, you know what? I think there are bad actors who want to try to exploit this and try to take away as much of your constitutional rights as possible. But my point being is that the biggest weapon that you have as an individual is to not let yourself become manipulated. That is your biggest defense you have against this, what I perceive to be an epic hype operation. This is a fake news operation. I'm not saying coronavirus is fake. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that this is a hype on an epic level. And we just need to kind of allow things to play out. I'm kind of just saying this. I don't have a lot of substance to what I'm saying, except to just kind of reassure my audience. Just allow it to play out. Keep calm. The media, they will not succeed, in my opinion. I think that will all blow over. As David X22 report says, when the news comes out that there's a vaccine developed, it doesn't mean everybody necessarily is all of a sudden going to get it, but that just means that their ability to hype this up with fear is going to be gone at that point. And even before then, I'll add this, even before then, we're already seeing it slow in other countries. And it's not going to go on forever. And in my opinion, I think that even now, if people will just say, I am not going to panic, I am not going to act any differently other than exercising normal hygiene that I should have already been doing anyway. You know? So I hope this has been helpful. I know, you know, I could probably somebody else could articulate what I just said better, but I hope that this has been at least on some level helpful, and we will continue to follow this here on the Citizen Report. I will be back with the regular podcast probably later this week, perhaps this weekend. Just enjoy life. Go about your life and trust God. Trust His promises of Psalm 91. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. Okay? There's just no reason to panic. I mean, heck, even if you caught coronavirus, most likely you will be just fine. I'm actually more concerned about the fact they're taking away constitutional rights from people and basically ordering people around to quarantine them. I'm just absolutely, I hate to say this word because I don't like to use inflammatory language like this, but I'm outraged, quite frankly, because I think that people, here's the thing, the Constitution, the very essence of our constitutional republic is that we're self-governing people, meaning that we should be entrusted with making good choices, right? So, and the government has a constitution that is not empowering it necessarily any more so than to limit it to a certain scope. And in my opinion, this whole coronavirus thing will blow over. But I think the media is complicit, and it should tell you a lot. They don't care about you. A lot of these people, especially CNN, they don't care about you. They want to stop Trump, and they'll stop at nothing to try to accomplish that end, okay? So just remain calm, be at peace, leave it in God's hands. Trust His promises, as I said in Psalm 91. Read the chapter. Go to that chapter in the Bible. If you don't have a Bible, you can look it up online. Just look it up and just read it and read it again and again and again and again until you realize that you are at peace. Because you know what? God has a promise there for you of protection. So read that over and over and over and over. I know that sounds, I can just imagine some people are shrugging their shoulders at me, but you know what? It works. Okay? So just go about your life. Don't let the media manipulate you. In fact, if you have to, just turn them off. And I hope you'll continue watching me. Even if you turn off the media, I hope you'll continue tuning in for the Citizen Report. I try to be independent and, try to do my own thing with it. Editorially independent, I should say. But on that note, I'm going to wrap this up here. I'm closing in on 20 minutes already. I didn't mean for it to even go this long, but my point is just remain calm, understand understand the motive and what they stand to gain from making people in fear, because it causes them to keep tuning back in. The ratings go through the roof. They get more money in the end because of that, at least theoretically. And a lot of these people in the media on the left want to stop Trump, and this is one way they think they can do it. I don't think I truly don't believe they'll succeed at all. This whole thing will blow over. I guarantee you in 6 months, this whole thing in 6 months will look, those who have bought all this prep stuff, they're going to look like fools, okay? I'm not bashing preppers, by the way. I'm just saying those who have gone to the store, bought these gas masks and thinking, they're going to have to get ready for the end of the world scenario. They're going to look like fools. So just remain calm, understand the media, understand what they're doing here, and just remain calm, okay? So with that said, just remember our website, thecitizenreport.weebly.com. I invite you to communicate with us right throughout the week. I'm Jonathan Shannon on Twitter. I'm at the Jonathan News. And I will see you again, hopefully with David, on the next edition of the Citizen Report. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day and a great week ahead.
The Citizen Report is a production of New Shannon Media. All content protected under copyright.